The Saskatchewan, we're going to get into it at the end. Saskatchewan's probably in the top 3 power rankings for most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could lose a couple times to the Bombers and still be right up there because the Bombers are just that good this year.
Welcome back to 11th Island, everybody. I'm Brad. That's Chris over there. Week 7 of the CFL has now wrapped up, so we're going to be taking a look at that. We're going to change it up a little bit this week. Normally spend a lot more time on the past games. At the end, we predict. We're still going to start with the past games. We're going to roll through them, spend some more time at the end of this episode talking about the Week 8 games and giving our prediction as always, because we know, Ryan, you love it, and everybody else does too. But first, Chris, what are we getting into?
First we're getting into some election talk. We pushed back our usual record date, so we're up on all the... No, we're not going to talk about the election. We're going to talk about the Ticats versus the Stampeders last Friday night, 23-17. Brad, what was going on in that game?
Well, first of all, I would say the score is not indicative of the game itself. I think Hamilton really dominated this game, and the score kind of shows that it was close. That last touchdown really was garbage time for Calgary. Hamilton, I mean, shameless plug for ourselves. Go check out the Jared Davis interview that we did on the weekend, kind of mid-season check-in, second time we talked to him. Great guest. He talked about that win against them. But yeah, it was a dominant defensive performance here from Hamilton. Bo Levi came back last week, the week before, kind of rolling. So, I mean, Hamilton kind of stopped that train. Calgary's, I mean, they're really kind of skidding here. It was a big win for Hamilton and a big missed opportunity for Calgary here. What'd you think?
I was having a lot of fun watching this game on TV Friday night, and I was really frustrated about the halftime report or the halftime show or whatever, where they were kind of just dunking on this game and saying, oh, like, you got to be better. And like, oh, Hamilton, I thought you said you were confident in your QB. And like, Bo Levi, I thought you said you were healthy. You got to be playing better football. This was fun football. Jared Davis called it backyard football, which was a great way to describe it. You know, a scrappy game, defensive game. You got a guy who's just realizing now, oh, I guess I got to hold down the fort, a David Watford, you know, who's kind of realizing that now I don't know how long I'm going to have to be doing this for, but I mean, I was behind 2 elite CFL quarterbacks. I wasn't expecting to get a lot of time this season. Now I'm the go-to guy. And then Bo Levi Mitchell, who broke his leg 3 weeks ago. And then, and also you throw in two of some of the best defenses in the league. You know, and what, you're going to say, oh, this is a terrible game when there's not a lot of points being scored in the first half?
When Hamilton's defense was completely shutting Calgary down and putting points on the board themselves. It's been a while since that Friday game, but they scored a touchdown or two. The defense did, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're David Watford, all you have to do is not lose this game. You don't have to win the game. Just don't lose it, which for a lot of QBs that have played football, it's a difficult task. So, I mean, the coaching staff for Hamilton and David Watford did the exact right thing where they played it safe. His numbers do not jump out off the board. But he played exactly what he needed to do in his first career professional start, too. Did what he needed to do, got the win. Hamilton's tied for first. I mean, after the slow start they had, your top 2 QBs go down for injury. I mean, you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, so I was seeing something different than that panel was. I mean, and I guess they got to hype up. They can't really be honest and say, look, you got a third string and a guy with who knows how much Bo Levi Mitchell's leg is healed, because last I checked, it was broken 3 weeks ago. So, and I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But I wouldn't be recommending my patient play football 3 weeks later. Yeah. But here he is, you know.
Well, I mean, the TSM panel ums and ahs as much as we do, and that's not saying not a compliment.
It's not saying much. It's like, welcome to our world. Okay, next we're going still on Friday night, 30-16, Rough Riders, Argos. Brad, how we feeling about this?
Well, I mean, the Argos have 2 teams, the one that stinks and the one that's good, and the one that stinks showed up. Arbuckle, he had over 300 yards, I think. Two touchdowns, but it wasn't enough here. I mean, you can't. I mean, Saskatchewan too. we kind of expected, we talked about it last week, that they were going to come out hot in this game after the two kind of embarrassing losses to Winnipeg. So going into Mosaic, the Argos have not played well on the road this year, as we've seen. It was going to be a tough game, and Saskatchewan had a good bounce back game. The Argos, that one, 50-50 shot. They're going to stink or be good, and they stunk. And that's about all you can say for that, really.
Well, I think one thing I would say, Arbuckle looked great. The run game kind of needs a little bit more action, or needs a little bit more juice, because John White had a.
Well, you're a John White stan.
I'm a John White stan. I want to see a little bit.
You.
No, I want to see a little bit more there, and I think it was a little bit more apparent because the Rough Riders have such a good run game.
Yeah. The Rough Riders are a good team. I think in that 2-week stretch, especially in a shortened season, it's easy to get caught up and kind of go, oh, this team's not that good. The Saskatchewan, we're going to get into it at the end. Saskatchewan's probably in the top 3 power rankings for most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could lose a couple times to the Bombers and still be right up there because the Bombers are just that good this year.
If any, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can keep going.
Well, I was gonna move on to the next thing, so I don't want to leave you behind.
Well, I was gonna say most teams, if they played Winnipeg twice in a row, would lose 2 games. But then again, the Argos didn't. So how good really are the Argos?
That's the question. I think cue the old Chael Sonnen. Just how good? All right. Speaking of a team that's good, the BC Lions beat the Montreal Alouettes 27-18. Kind of an intriguing game there.
Yeah, Montreal's another team where it's like, who are they? Like, are you good or are you bad? Because you come out one game, you look unreal. Vernon Adams buzzing around, making plays. The defense plays good. And the next game is kind of one like this where, what was the one stat that they had, like 16 balls batted down? It was like the most in a CFL game. They just were committed to get this play. In all fairness to Montreal, Carter Jones, their head coach, had COVID, so he wasn't there, which at least it was coming off a bye week. Because when I first saw that, I was like, how does your coach get COVID, but nobody else on the team does? But I guess coming off a bye, if he was at home, not around his team. So that is a tough game without your head coach. But BC, got to talk about them. Michael Riley, elbow's healed. He's good. And if he's playing like the Mike Riley of old, BC's going to be looking good in that West.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because you could see on the bottom there. That side.
I don't. Yeah, you're pointing at the wrong side. You're pointing at me. I don't know what you're doing.
But you could see all this down
Our
here.
audio listeners are.
We're
so
going
confused.
the power rankings. We're going the power rankings later, and it's going to be really interesting how the things shape
up. I think too, this is a good point. If you are listening to the audio podcast, you can also listen to this on YouTube. Quick plug too. We do YouTube only videos as well. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, make sure you check out the YouTube and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, you don't want to see our ugly faces or Chris pointing both ways trying to figure it out, go check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. Keep going, Chris.
All right. Yeah.
We're done talking about that game.
Well, the thing. What
tell the people we didn't actually watch the game any quicker. Why don't you?
Yeah, we were working. This was when we were editing our Jaguar Davis interview, and I was working at it. I was grinding, and we also did two UFC or a UFC video and a Bellator video that night too.
Yeah, it was a busy time. So
we have reasons. But hey, I had it right here, but I was just looking at the screen.
Okay. So what's the next game?
The next game is the Blue Bombers versus the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, we'll make sure to give your Winnipeg Blue Bombers lots of time, Ryan. We know you get upset in the comments. But again, Winnipeg's just looking like the best team in the league. I will say, we are XFL fans, or were XFL fans on this podcast. If you watched XFL, did you really think that Cornelius was going to come in and get the job done for Edmonton? Did we really think this?
Yeah. I have to think back to our ranking the XFL quarterbacks. I don't even think Cornelius got a mention. in the video. Did he?
Well, wasn't he was on Tampa
Yeah,
Bay?
yeah.
Wasn't
He
he
was.
their
Well, I
backup?
mean, he was the backup to Aaron Murray.
But didn't they have that other guy on Tampa Bay that was really good too?
I just remember Aaron Murray and Cornelius.
Yeah, because you used to roast Aaron Murray on a weekly basis, and Cornelius was his backup.
And now he's doing
So,
pretty good for the Elks.
well, they didn't win the game. I mean, he did better than Fajardo the past couple of weeks. But the thing is Winnipeg's the team beating the CFL. This is playing. They're 6-1. They're absolutely rolling. Their only loss was away to Toronto, which the longer we get away from that, even as a Toronto fan, I want to say it's fluky. It's very fluky by the looks of it. And it's one of those things where they got that wake up call real early in the season, which could really come in handy as they keep going. I at this point, it's who can stop Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think Zach Collaros just keeps getting better. You know, with the football. No longer a game manager. Now he's a guy that can really control. I mean, he just keeps on picking up steam. I think, is this the Blue Bombers' highest scoring game of the season? 37 points.
Off the top of my head, I would say yes, but I don't know for sure. I think it is. I mean, the amount of
these are big numbers for the Blue Bombers, and because usually like they're really getting by on defense. You know, this is a big so now the offense is picking up with a defense that never went away from
it. Yeah, it's scary with if this offense keeps rolling like that with how good this defense is, because that defense by itself can win you games. Like, because all levels of it, like the line, the linebackers, the secondary, studs all across the board. You got game changers at every single level that you could go into a game and like every play they can make a huge play, get a turnover, whatever. Winnipeg's just the best team in the CFL right now. That's night and day.
With 3 interceptions from that game. I mean, Cornelius, welcome to the CFL. You better be selective with your throws, because these guys are they're gonna take advantage.
Well, soon enough, Cornelius is gonna get welcome to the cubicle world. So,
whoa, whoa. All right, we're gonna move into next week. So first off, I have an apology to make because I have an apology to make because of my mistake last week where I said this Ticats versus Red Blacks game was this week in our predictions thing. But look at this. Look at what I'm going off of here. How can you read this user interface? How can you keep track of all this? Not a good system. Not a good system at all. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But anyways, let's get to this now. Cats versus Red Blacks. What's your picks?
Well, first of all, give me the line, please.
Oh yeah, the line. Okay, so I just showed you the line. Could you not read it? Exactly. This is a hard website to read. Whatever. I'm not going to give a shout out.
I'm far away from the thing that I'm viewing the lines on.
Yeah, okay. So Hamilton's minus 10.5.
Yeah, because this is a game, even though it's in Ottawa, and even though Hamilton, again, is starting Watford, their third string QB, this simply is how badly will Hamilton beat Ottawa. And I'm gonna go off the board here. I really am. And I'm gonna say, if it's anything, like if you could get them at 9.5 or even 10 even, probably take Hamilton. But at 10.5, Ottawa is a professional football team. Hamilton's not going to put a lot of points on the board with the third string QB. They're going to play it safe. I think they can keep it within 10.
Well,
I think you take 10.5 here.
That's an interesting
at home too.
The over under is 41.5. So really, I mean, they like Vegas or Niagara Falls or whatever the Canadian thing is. They're saying, okay, this is going to be a low scoring game as it is. They're going to say Watford's going to again play it safe. 10.5 looking pretty good then.
Yeah, you like some crappy like 17-7 game. Not crappy. I'm sorry, Chris is gonna get mad at me like the TSN panel. A great defensive-minded 17-7 game where Ottawa barely covers, I'm taking it. Let's go.
All right, so then next up, let me just see. This got to go. Boom. Went too far. Do I not have...
All right.
I don't have a button for that one.
All right. Okay, so what is the next one here? It's fine. It's fine if it's on the wrong one. People can figure it out.
I didn't even make... Okay, so birds versus boats. The Argonauts and the Alouettes. So the Alouettes are plus 1.5. I don't even know why you have a cover at that point.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, a game that we're going to be at, too. It's in Toronto. I think this is one where two teams where we've talked really for the last couple of weeks now where we don't know who either of these teams are. I think in this situation, Toronto has really proven to be a very good home team so far. They're on 2 games only, mind you, but they're undefeated at home, beating a very good Winnipeg team and a very good Hamilton team. So I think here I would say you take them at money line. Don't play around with 1.5. Take a money line, and make it expect that the best version of Toronto is going to show up, where probably not the best version of Montreal is going to show up on the road here. Could be wrong. Again, this is one of those ones where that exactly what I said could flip, and the best version of Montreal shows up, and again the stinker for Toronto. But I think I would have more faith in Toronto showing up at their best this week.
Yeah, and I think the intrigue with this game is that these are two teams that, once again, who knows which version of them is going to show up, and they've been so close together. I mean, of course, Toronto's now a game up in the standings, but still their identities as a team and the way they've kind of won their games and lost their games have been very similar, and they've drawn. The further the season goes, the more comparisons are drawn. Now's the point of no comparison, because one's going to obviously have beaten the other. You know, this is if you want to talk about power rankings, these are two teams that are in the middle trying to like step on each other's head to use as a ladder up. You know, they're scrambling to get out of like the swamp, you know.
And I will say for these games too, even if you're blowing the team out, you gotta keep the foot on the throttle here, because now, correct me if I'm wrong, I might have to make an apology like you next week, but I assume that the tiebreakers would be in a head-to-head matchup based off of points scored if you're 1-1, right?
Yes.
I would like the point differential. So if you're a situation, you got to put your foot on the gas and keep going, even if you got a big lead, because in the way that this East is so close, you never know what the standings might be at the end of it. If you're tied with Montreal, you split with them. You never want you don't want any chances. So
especially in a week where, I mean, the Ticats, who knows? Like they've been trending up. Who knows if this is just they're going to have a little bump and they're going to stay competitive with the rest of that division, or they might take off here. You know, so you really got to hold on to the person right beside you that you're neck and neck with, if you're the Argonauts or the Alouettes. And I mean, for the Alouettes to do something on the road, that's can be really huge for if Vernon Adams can step up with the rest of his team.
I agree. And then there's only the 3 games this week, right? Because the fourth game is going to be on Tuesday, which we will touch on because we'll have our new video up next week before that. So we'll probably we might have 5 picks next week, depending on when the games line up next week. But Chris, what's next on the docket?
All right, the Saskatchewan Roughriders going to BC to take on the Lions. I mean, another really close...
Chris, we're doing it again. It's the power rankings now. Is it not?
No. It's just no.
I got looking at the thing in the bottom corner where it was on the last game. That's on me. I'm sorry, Chris.
Okay, so the Rough Riders are +1 here. So another one where it's like, why not just go money line here?
Yeah, no, don't play around with +1. And you said it's in BC. Sorry. Yeah, I think Saskatchewan's a better team here. I think it's BC's good, a very good team, very competitive. I think they probably keep this game competitive. It's probably very close. But Saskatchewan, I mean, barring playing Winnipeg, has looked like one of the best teams in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Winnipeg. It's clear that their levels above. So I think I would trust Saskatchewan, even on the road here in BC, to take this game. And Fajardo's, if he was dealing with maybe that concussion issue, I think that's probably past now. So I would trust it. But it's a game that, take money line. BC will keep it close though.
Yeah, BC will keep it close, and I think BC might win. I mean, what I've seen from Michael Riley week in, week out just keeps getting better.
Yeah, it is very difficult to remember to say Michael, not Mike. I did not expect it to be that difficult all season.
Did I say Michael?
No, you said Michael. That's what I was saying.
Good.
Like,
okay, good. Yeah, because
you've been good with it. I screw up every time.
I see. What I've had to do is you know how you do name dissociate or association? I had to associate him with somebody I call Michael already and not Mike. I explicitly call him Michael, not Mike. So then it just clicked.
There we go.
I think, hopefully. Don't catch me.
Right.
All right, so now
my apologies. Now we can move on to what's next.
That button worked. We're now on power rankings, and I got it this time. Pointing at it.
All right. So for the power rankings, Chris, I think we're just going off the dome here. We have not planned this. And if you think that we're joking and this is a bit, you do not know us personally and know our planning skills. This truly is off the dome.
Okay.
So are we are we going to go back and forth, or are we just going to go 1 through 9 each? Like, am I doing 1 through 9 and you do 1 through 9, or you go 1, I go 1, or like how we
let's do you do 1, I do 1.
Okay, so I'll start. So I'm going Winnipeg number 1. Easy.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go Winnipeg 2. All right, so then number 2, Brad. What are you saying? We'll say it at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Lions.
Saskatchewan. I got Saskatchewan, yeah.
Yeah, I got the
Okay,
Lions.
we're not doing all these at the same time because the audio listeners are not liking that. So you got BC number 2.
I got BC.
All right, so number 3, I'll go BC then.
Then I'll go Rough Riders.
Number 4, Hamilton.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that too.
Number 5, I think I'm going Argos.
Yeah, I think I'll go Argos too. I think this is gonna be Stockholm.
We're gonna be 6, Montreal.
Yeah, okay, I'll put Montreal there because it fits what I was just talking about.
Number 7 is gonna be. This is toss up for between 2 teams here for me. I'm gonna go Calgary.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Calgary too.
And then 8 and 7 could have easily been this team as well, but I'm gonna go Edmonton.
Yeah, same. And then finally,
Ottawa is number 9. Yeah, so that was the power ranking segment.
Yeah, we finally did it. It took us half a season to say, okay, it's established.
We've respected the game so much that we waited
till
we felt they had done enough.
We waited till they'd done enough, and then still said, we gotta see this happen before. we gotta see the Argos play the Alouettes before. We gotta see the Lions play the Rough Riders before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well,
who's gonna be right? The biggest thing is this Lions Rough Riders game. It's the biggest divide between us. It's a battle.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. All right. You got anything else on this week? This has been probably one of the weirdest episodes that we've done for the CFL recaps all year, I think.
Yeah. I ate like 2 pounds of chicken wings before this, so.
I don't know if that would have anything to do with your performance, but.
I'm just at this point I'm just making conversation.
Yeah, okay. Is it time for me to tell the people what they need to know?
People. I've already started playing the music.
Okay. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like the CFL content. Like I mentioned off the top, Jared Davis interview. We interviewed him on Saturday, got posted Sunday. Go check that out in the interviews playlist. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.